I'm Natasha. Welcome to episode 2 of the Organized Frenzy podcast about knitting. I live in Welland with my boyfriend Jesse and our 3 cats, and you can find me on Instagram as Organized Frenzy, on Ravelry as Natasha Hillier, and I also have a Ravelry group called Organized Frenzy Podcast. I've got my scrappy sock blanket here, and I've got my tea. I don't know if you can see how steamy it is still. I just brewed it. It is David's Tea Sleigh Ride from my advent calendar. I've kind of gotten behind the past few days. Probably like a good 6 or 7 days, to be honest. But it's kind of been nice because I just have the teas, and I get to choose which one I want. There's only 2 that I took out of the advent calendar. I might give them to my mom. I might try them. Anyways, so I started a Ravelry. I can't say that word. I don't know why. I started a Ravelry group, and once again, this is awkward to knit. I started a Ravelry group, and I think I have like 7 members. And 3 subscribers right now, so that's exciting. Thank you. But in the Ravelry group, I'm posting the show notes, and I'm linking to everything that I talk about as well. So yeah, so that's been fun. I have a couple finished objects to share. I also have some WIP updates, works in progress, and yeah, I'm trying to talk about some things right now so I can finish this row. I'll tell you about my week. It feels like every single week goes by so fast, and then it's like the weekend, and then the weekend goes by so fast. Like, I cannot believe that it's almost Christmas. It feels like a couple months ago was Christmas 2016. So I have a couple more weeks of work, and then I'm going to be taking a week of holidays, just staying in Canada, going on a trip to Montreal with Jesse, so I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, I am planning a trip to Espace Tricot. I've already planned out what yarn I'm gonna get, because if I don't plan it, if I don't go to the yarn shop with patterns in mind, bad. I'll just see something and it's pretty and I want to get it, or I'll try and think of patterns like while I'm there. I'll try to be loading my Ravelry library, and I wouldn't say I'm an easily stressed person, but I get like anxious. I don't really know. So I have to go to the yarn shop with projects in mind. So that's what I've done. I've chosen 3 shawls actually. And I'm going to be buying yarn for those. Yarn that is not accessible at my local yarn shop. So that's why I kind of wanted to do, that's why I chose 3 projects. I was only going to do like 1 or 2, but I figured I would do 3. We'll see. And then accessories and things like that. I kind of have a rough idea, but no promises there. So I think I'm going to put this down now. Okay, so the first one I'll show, I didn't actually finish this week. I finished them before the first podcast, but it's the socks for my youngest sister. This is how I block them for presents. So they're a little bit wonky, but of course when she puts them on, it'll be fine. This is the pattern. Oh my goodness, I should have checked it. I think it's Times Square by Mina Phillip, Knitting Expat. This was from her New York sock collection. Can't remember what she called it. Ooh. So it's kind of like a faux cable. There we go. And actually these I knit fairly quickly. Oh my gosh. Well, that's my cat for you. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to rip that back, pick up the stitches, and cast off. That's so annoying. Well, this is why we have extra yarn. I just realized that now. Thank goodness I hadn't packed it up and then realized. Well, I'm annoyed about that. Anyways. Here is, yeah. So it's a self-patterning, self-striping yarn. Quite funky. She chose it. And she chose the pattern as well. So I am happy with how these turned out. Minus this. I'm angry about this. Seriously? My cats are not allowed in this room anymore. Well, it's just the one. She's a kitten. Anyways, last night I finished something else. I knit this as a gift and jokingly said I wanted to keep it for myself now. It's going to be given on, I think, next Friday, the 22nd. I had some struggles with this. I will explain in a minute. This is the Antler hat by Tin Can Knits. Haven't washed it yet, but I've woven all the ends and it's pretty much ready. I don't really think hats look good on me, but I did. So I love this. So the pom-pom was supposed to be bigger. It's a good size. It's a good handful. I have a pom-pom maker that's one size bigger, and that's the one I tried to use. And I had wrapped it so tightly and then was having troubles tying. I wrapped it so tight and so full, and then I was having trouble tying the string around to secure the pom-pom. And I was like, oh, well, let me just open it up a little bit and then I can actually pull this tight. No, because it was so much yarn, it like sprung back, and I tried to tie a double knot and it was just way too loose. It was falling apart. I was really mad, but thank goodness I had 2 balls of this yarn. I actually had to add my second ball right about here. Let me unfold this. So it's quite big, actually. I had to add my second ball about here. And yeah, I had enough left over for the pom-pom, so thank goodness. This is the first pom-pom that I've ever attached to a hat, so I feel like it could be a bit more secure. I don't know. Actually, it's pretty secure. I had the 2 ends. I stuck them in, tied them, put the ends back through and then back down and tie it again. So it's kind of anchored in like 4 spots. I think it's gonna hold, and this one's tied very tight. And then I trimmed it, of course, so it's not perfect, but yep. So I learned how to do a cable decrease with this pattern. That was fun. The cable was kind of annoying. I started out on 16-inch circulars, which I love using for hats. I used, what's that other one? Barley by Tin Can Knits. I used 16-inch circulars. I made a couple of those hats in the summer. I used my 16-inch circulars, and I really like them, but I don't know if it's like I hold the needles like out like this, and so it kind of makes like a half circle shape like that. I don't know. So I feel like it's kind of like it's too much tension on the join. And for the cable as well, it was annoying to cable using the circular needles I found. And so I actually switched to DPNs about halfway up the cabling. And it was kind of fiddly. The DPNs I have, can you see it? Right there. In that jar, it was literally like $13 from Amazon. Just a DPN set, and it has all the sizes, and I think they're 8 inches. Yeah, I think it's 8 inches. I'm sorry, there's something in my eye. Probably fuzz from this pom-pom. But a bunch of sizes and 5 needles per size. So that was actually good because I think there was 106 stitches. I did the large because I wasn't sure how, like I wanted it to be a bit floppy. Although it doesn't look good because it's so like ribbed and tight. Anyways, so I was using 5 DPNs for the rest of the hat, and I have the cable needle that is, it's straight, but then on either end it's kind of like a bit of a bulge. So everything was wooden, and that was a bit annoying to knit with, but other than that, I mean, the cabling is kind of annoying. I think my cables got better actually as I went on, because I wasn't pulling, like, they're just more chunky up here versus down here. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of subtle, but I love the pattern of this. It's beautiful, I think. Some people were shocked. Oh, I sent a Snapchat to some of my friends, and they were shocked that I made it. Thank you. I know I'm fresh. Okay, I'm gonna burn myself. Hot. That's yummy. Okay, now I want to talk about whips. I did work on these a little bit, not as much as I wanted to, because they're kind of annoying to knit. These are the socks for my middle sister, and I've kind of figured out a way to adjust the yarn every time I do color change, so it's not as tangly. But this is sock A. I was here last time, so I knit all of that, starting at this stripe here, this polka dotted one. So that's the first sock. Let me not get tangled here. And this is the second sock, and I only have the toe of this one done. It's a week ago now, so that's pretty good, I guess. Ugh. I don't really like working on those. Just because there's so much yarn. I don't think I'm doing that again. They're not So I'm the self-striper in this situation. Oh boy. Okay, next one lives in my porter bin. I have this pin on it. That's fitting. So this is my, okay, let me back up. The next two whips are knit-alongs are these next two that I'm not doing so well with. This first one completely failed. This is Andrea Mowry's What the Fade knit-along, mystery knit-along. And I started out strong with the first clue. I was done in like a day, 2 days. Second clue, I think I got behind on the second clue. Clue am I on right now? Haven't even finished clue 3. There's 6 clues. No big deal. Clue 2 is so long. Brioche is just so long. I love it. I love brioche. I love how it looks, but it takes a while. So this is that's the right side. That's the wrong side, or the back, I don't know what you want to call it. And I've just been taking forever with this, and I really wanted to have it done on time. That would be nice. I love the yarn. It's all Malabrigo, Mekita, something like that. I don't know. I kept these little tags on it so I knew what color was which. So this is my color A. It's called Eggplant. This is my color B, Colotus. C is Archangel. And D is Dried Orange. E, which is the one that I'm working on now, Mandragora, which reminds me of Harry Potter, of course. This one's one of my favorite ones. And F, which I just cut, Arkita. I don't know how to pronounce that. This one was, I think, the brightest one out of all of them. Let's see if I can show this. So those are my colors. I do love working on this. It's just quite big and there's so many stitches, and it's kind of discouraging that I'm only on clue 3. Not even, maybe like in the last third of clue 3. So it's kind of hibernates. I kind of pull it out sometimes. I'm working on the garter now. So that's a little bit easier than the brioche. There's increasing in the brioche, and it wasn't it's not hard or anything. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it just was time consuming because when I work brioche, I need to do a full repeat so that I don't lose my spot. I mean, I can read my knitting pretty well, so I think I could have figured it out, but the OCD, that's kind of what I have to do. It's a full repeat. So I really want to get that done because it's going to be huge and cozy. I spent a lot of money on the yarn. It's a single, which I love for shawls. And the other knit along is just in this little bag. I think I got for like $10 on Amazon. It is by Tina Say. And it is called Stars Align. Here it is finished. So it's really neat. I like this one. And I had a different plan for this yarn originally. I was gonna do the Le Moya for myself. I started doing it for my mom and I was like, it's pretty, but it's kind of plain. I would rather have a patterned brioche shawl. And so actually that's one of the ones that I'm buying yarn for when I'm at Espace Tricot is Knit Graffiti. Sizzle Pop, that's what it's called. And it's so patterned and it's so beautiful. So my yarn is Malabrigo. This is my, let me put this right here. This is my color A. I rewound this because it was a bit floppy. It is called Baltic. I am obsessed with this. It's brighter and more blue in person. Oh, I love it. I bought this when I kind of first started knitting and I was like, I don't know what I'm ever gonna do with this, but it's pretty. I was like, yeah, I'll make a pair of socks. No, you can't make socks with a single ply 100% merino yarn. Well, I guess you could, but not ideal. So anyways, Baltic. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna get, because I was planning on doing Le Moya, and I didn't know what I wanted my color B to be, but I was just looking, and I can't even remember where I saw this color, but I knew it was gonna go perfectly. This is Antique Lace. Sorry, these are both Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light. So this is Antique Lace. It's kind of like a dusty beige, off-white, creamy color. I don't know. So I loved those together. And then I saw this shawl and I thought, well, there's, you know, the interest of these pretty eyelets and there's like some stripes going on, and so I'm gonna do that shawl with this yarn. Okay, so this is what I have so far. And just a little baby stripe of that antique lace, but isn't that color so nice? This is just on my Knitter's Pride. So this one's kind of been put to the back burner because Christmas time and I planned to knit too many things and overwhelmed myself with all the knits. So let's talk about Christmas knitting, because I had so many things planned. I told you, like 7 pairs of socks, that hat, a shawl, and 3 pairs of mittens. Mittens are not even started. They're not getting done. But you know, it's nice to knit things for Christmas because then you don't have to go out and buy something and it's handmade and it's a bit nicer, whatever. But I thought I started early. I started end of September / beginning of October for Christmas knitting. And maybe it was because I chose these bigger projects that weren't necessarily quick knits, like 7 pairs of socks. I mean, if you're fast, like Mina Phillip fast, then sure. And you're knitting a vanilla sock, not a big deal. Nope. Chose patterns. And chose 7 pairs of socks. And I don't know if I'm going to do that again. I kind of want to do something generic, like thrummed mittens or something for everyone, but what if not everyone wants that? And there was 4 of I guess all 7 pairs of socks that I knit, I wanted to knit those people's socks. My sisters, it wasn't necessarily intentional to have their socks as Christmas presents, but by the time I had time to start knitting them, I was like, okay, well, I might as well just save it for Christmas. My aunt, I wanted to knit her a pair of socks. Actually, I ended up giving her a pair of socks, so I didn't actually have to, but I'd bought this yarn with her in mind, and, I just figured I would still stick with that. And my one friend, kind of my boyfriend's boss, but they're more friends really, so it's not. Anyways, he does a lot for me. He's super nice, and so I think I was talking about socks one time where my boyfriend mentioned like he likes hand knit socks. So I said, okay. Like, my boyfriend works at a cafe. It's called the Black Sheep Lounge. It's here in Welland. He's the cook there, chef cook. And his boss, the owner, Lucas, never charges me for food if I go to eat there. So I feel bad going to eat too much because I don't want to take advantage of that. But he's so sweet. So I for sure wanted to knit him socks. And my boyfriend's parents, I wanted to knit them socks as well. And then my best friend. And that's the 7 pairs of socks. My best friend Steph already has her socks because I saw her a couple weeks ago. We did Christmas presents early just because she lives like 3 hours away. So we did it then. And then actually the shawl for my mom, like I said, I started that one first. And I'm so bad about this. I have to keep this aside so I don't forget. And the hat was just meant to be something easy and quick. I told you guys I time all the things that I knit. This was about 10 hours. It wasn't as quick as I thought it was going to be. But that's fine. And then mittens. One is the fiddlehead mittens for my other aunt. And then just like a sort of vanilla-ish, plain-ish pattern for my dad and his wife. I was doing mittens, I'm gonna do mittens for them. But I told them it was coming later. So I don't know what I'm going to do for Christmas next year because it's like I'm a very selfish knitter. I've realized from knitting all these presents, and I don't necessarily want to spend time knitting for other people if I can just knit for myself. Said it. Told you I was a selfish knitter. It's wonderful to see when you give somebody something and they love it. I haven't actually given too many knitted gifts, but I'm hoping that's what will happen with the things that I've made this year. I'll definitely update you when I gift those. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. We'll see. I'm nearing the end, so hopefully it won't be too bad. This thing is haunting me. It's right in front of me, haunting me. Thank goodness I do all my cuffs the same size so I can just count how many rows. And because this pattern is so wild, it's not like, or the yarn is so wild, and I had this color change during my cast off anyways. Just annoying because I was done with these socks. Oh well. Okay, so I mentioned in about 3 weeks time, first week in January, I'm going to go to Montreal. And my intention for this podcast, episode 2, was to film on like Thursday, Friday, and have it uploaded on Saturday, yesterday. So that obviously didn't happen. I just want to make sure I have time to sit down and record, and then editing it, cutting out some of the stupid things takes a little while. So yeah, next week I think I'm going to film and publish on a Saturday. That's the plan anyways. And then the week after is like right before New Year's. It might be Saturday as well for that one, but I'm gonna have to see. I'm not planning on doing anything for New Year's. It might be Sunday. And then the podcast after that, which will be episode 4. I'm thinking of doing more of a vlog style because I'm going to be in Montreal. I don't think Jesse will, like, if I film in front of him, he's going to make me laugh. I'm not going to be able to talk to myself without yelling and thinking I'm sounding stupid. So I might do more of a vlog style, little bits and pieces of just filming and just to like give an update on what I'm working on and stuff. I am going to be starting the Comfort Fade Cardi, and I'm going to join in on the knit along in January. I've ordered yarn for it from an indie dyer. She did a custom order for me. It's Lizzie Ann Yarns. And I kind of just described to her what I wanted, and just this past week she knit, her and her daughter Emily dyed up a little bit, or a little sample on mini skeins just to see how the colors look together. And I was obsessed with it. I'm not going to tell you what the colors are. I'm going to keep it a surprise, but I will show you progress on that. I don't know when it's going to come. I'm not in a rush because I know she's busy with Christmas orders and her own life and everything. So I know that the colors they at least know what they're dyeing. Don't know if they've dyed it yet. I'm so excited to start that. I don't know how I feel about knit-alongs. Well, okay, I like knit-alongs because I like to see other people's progress on things. But similar to Christmas knitting, I think a knit-along provides a deadline that I don't love to have when I'm knitting. If I'm just knitting a pair of socks for myself and I'm loving it, like, what if it doesn't matter if I don't get to knit on it for a couple of days in a row? Like, there's no deadline, it's for me, it's whatever. If it's for somebody else or it's part of a knit along with like a deadline, it makes it a little bit more stressful and not as enjoyable. You can't go at your own pace. So anyways, I'm gonna try and stay on top of that. I can't remember how long the knit along runs for, but we'll see how it goes. And Knittertainment, I'm still listening to Harry Potter. Like I said, I'm on the 5th book, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. I am more than halfway done that book. I find I don't listen to a lot of music while I'm knitting unless it's something that I really need to focus on. If it's more mindless, then I can just put on the chapter or watch a show or something and knit okay, but if I really have to focus, and there's only been like a couple times like decreases, or I think, yeah, when I was decreasing the hat, I had to pause the book just so I could read the instructions and make sure I was doing it right. But yeah, so I'm working on Harry Potter still. Started episode 3 of Jane the Virgin. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, so maybe I'll do that today. And the other thing I will quickly mention is my tea is now drinkable temperature. Just kidding. Besides that, actually, let me show you this mug because I think it's so cool. It's from David's Tea. I think it came in white, this mint color, and like a deep red. And the tea, it's like a little cup that sits inside and it holds the tea leaves for brewing. And then it's got this lid that just goes on top. I like having a lid actually because it keeps all the condensation in and your tea doesn't evaporate as quickly. This is so festive tasting. Anyways, so last Sunday, I filmed the podcast when I got home from my work Christmas party, but we did it as a brunch. And I wore my shawl that I had knit. And I told everyone, because I know I knit, and so, of course, they were saying it was so beautiful and whatnot. And then I think it was like the next day or within the next couple days at work, a couple of the girls said, I want to learn how to knit. And they had mentioned it before, and I wasn't sure if they were like just saying that and it was like something that was like in the back of their minds, or if they like 100% actually wanted to. No, they actually 100% want to. So there's 2 girls, well there's 3 girls who want to learn how to knit as well. And so we've kind of said we're going to start in the new year. We're going to do it at the one's house. We think Tuesday nights. So I'll get to teach people how to knit. I taught my best friend how to knit. I taught my boyfriend how to knit. Jesse doesn't do it. He did it like a few times. I just kind of wanted to see. My best friend, Steph, I taught her, and she knows how to do it, but she works a lot and she doesn't always have a ton of time. So she knows how to do the stitches. Like she'll put it down, and it's not like a daily habit kind of thing for her. And so she hasn't done it in a while, but she does want to get into it. And so I said, okay, just commit to a certain amount of time every day or a certain number of rows every day, so that you kind of incorporate it into your daily routine. So I think she's kind of starting to work on that. And anyways, so with the girls at work, I wasn't sure how I wanted to start teaching them, but I think I'm gonna cast on and knit a few rows and just some straight needles or some DPNs or something, just a little sample, so that they can practice doing the knit stitch. And then once they know how to do knit, then we're gonna learn how to do purl. And then they can start themselves by doing the cast on and then knitting, and then doing the cast off. Maybe just like a little coaster or something really small. Just so they can experience everything and not have to wait forever to do a cast on and a cast off, and something quick and simple, just to get a taste for it, I think. And then if all goes well there, learn done some increases, decreases. 2 of them have said that they want to knit socks. And they're like, oh, socks are hard, aren't they? I don't want to intimidate anyone. I don't think socks are hard. But my mind works very structured, I guess. And so I can understand the construction of a sock quite well. And I guess knitting so many socks. But even my first one, I really didn't think it was hard, because if you have a good pattern, you just follow the directions and you're good to go. So I said we can start out with some like reading socks / bulky like sleep socks, just to kind of get an idea. And I'll probably just start them cuff down DPNs. If we get that far, we'll see. We're going to start the lessons in the new year, so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to teaching them, because it sounds like they actually really want to learn. And hopefully they continue on with it, versus, you know, it's something that you learn and then you don't really do. So, I don't know. We'll see. I worked yesterday, and so I'm off today, tomorrow. That's why I waited until today to do the podcast. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I want to talk about. Hopefully this episode will be a bit better than the first one, which was kind of sporadic, I guess. I'm gonna insert my little theme music. I made put some images together to kind of include in the podcast, so we'll see how it goes. Still new to this, but I'm enjoying it. I was looking forward to filming this all week and figuring out what I wanted to talk about, and figuring out what I would talk about in some future episodes and things like that. Yeah, so I hope you will have a good rest of the weekend, and have a good week, and I will hopefully see you on Saturday, December 23rd, just before Christmas.